Before we start today's video, if you are about to tell me that Braveheart was not a Viking, I know, okay? I just thought it looked cool on the thumbnail, just putting that out there. Alright, so today, guys, I wanted to do a video. It's a little bit different, right? I'm just going to be kind of talking for this video, and it is, as you've seen from the thumbnail and title, kind of a defense of Valheim and talking about a few things. Specifically, I really wanted to talk about the people keep saying the game's dead, the player base is dying, right? Things to that effect. So I want to cover that first. I also want to talk about the update. There's been a lot of controversy around this update, a lot of love and some hate, and I kind of want to cover both of those things as well. And also talk a little bit about the future of the game. So we're going to jump into those three things. I'd love to get a discussion going with you guys. I predict there's going to be a lot of dislikes on this video because I think people are very passionate about this, and that is great, but I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so the first thing is to say, the people keep saying the game is dead, right? And, you know, to say the game is dead, I mean, Valheim in its first week sold 1 million copies, and in its first month sold 5 million copies. So, yeah, okay, obviously it hasn't still done that every single week since then. And if it did, you know, that would be like some sort of world record, I'd imagine. To put it in perspective, right, Minecraft Beta was released in May 2009. In 2010, that whole year, Minecraft sold 1 million copies. Now, I'm not saying that this game is going to be bigger than Minecraft one day, because that'd be some feat. But it does put it into perspective about saying the game is dead. I don't think it is. So to the people that are saying, you know, the game is dead, I mean, I'd be interested to know. This is a genuine, like, communication thing here, right? I'd like to read your guys' comments. Why do you think it is dead? Like, what is it, like, because you and your friends don't play anymore, your communities are lower? I mean, there's still a lot of people that have this game and that play it. I think naturally, when you have a game like this where, you know, it's released and there's updates, it builds, and then as you get closer to the update, it falls off because people don't want to start big build projects, and then the game updates and they might want to go in a different direction or play the game in a different way. So I think it's natural that it's dropped off right now. I predict in, you know, what is it, 7-8 days, whatever it is, until the game actually updates, there'll be like another surge, and then it will drop off again. And then if they do another update, you know, it'll hopefully keep doing that. And you hope over time it builds like this. But, you know, no game is just going to do that forever, right? Like, there's going to be ups and downs. And so I'm interested. Why do you think the game's died? Because I really don't think that it is. And another type of person I would like to talk to here is the people who are just complaining, because the community around Valheim is fantastic, all right? And, you know, some people suggest some really cool things in the updates, and the devs have said they do look at a lot of comments as much as they can. Obviously, they're not going to see all of them, but they look for feedback from the community about what the community is looking for in the game, and they try and take that on board. And so I think if you take the right approach and you suggest things in a constructive feedback way, no one's going to get annoyed about that, right? We all understand that the game's not perfect. It's still an early release game. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect yet, right? But some people just complain. They're just like, oh, this is so bad. This game, like, I've played Minecraft, and in Minecraft I can drink potions, and Valheim doesn't have as many like. So it's all right. I'm gonna try and keep my cool here. Sometimes these comments just annoy me because I'm like, you're not suggested anything constructive, and also too many people compare this to other games. Now, I made some slight comparisons to this game and Minecraft, right, in a previous video. It was a long time ago now, but I wanted to flag this because some people got quite unhappy that I did this. What I'm saying, though, is I think constructive feedback is the way to go. I think comparing it to other games is fine, but not just saying there's a feature in another game that's not in this game, therefore this game should have it, because it's a different game. And the other thing I think that's really important to say about like any game, you have the core audience for that game. And these are the people that are kind of like the die-hard fans of the game, right? And these people are going to play that game now, and over the next 10 years, they'll play it maybe on and off, right? I'm not saying like constantly, but they're going to still be around there. And I would consider myself to be one of those. I don't see myself, you know, doing anything different. I think I'll be playing this game for a very long time. But that core audience has been fantastic. Like, you know, I spend a lot of time in the Valheim community. I go on, you know, the Reddit, the Discord. I keep an eye on them on Twitter, and just all things Valheim. Obviously, it's sort of part of my job, but also genuine interest about the way the game's going and what you guys are really thinking about the game. And I think the core audience for Valheim is really solid. Like, there are people there who do provide a lot of that constructive feedback, right? They actually suggest good ideas for the game going forward, which I think is really important. And also show a lot of support and a lot of love for the development team, who are either the best actors I've ever seen or are genuinely the nicest people I've ever seen. I've watched some of their interviews and stuff, and I think, like, for this game to have this much success, it looks like to me it couldn't have happened to a better bunch of people. And so I think you know, for the most part, this game has that core community. So is it really dying? The core community, I think, is getting bigger. But obviously, you get those people that just come and play it casually every now and again. And, those people, maybe okay, are dropping off because obviously there's a new game, it's hype, loads of people try it out. Not all those people are going to stick around, obviously. But the ones who are, I think, like really getting into Valheim, really enjoying it, I think that's growing. But again, I'd love to know what you guys think about that. So, the update, right? The much awaited and anticipated Hearth and Home update. I'm starting to learn to say Hearth, by the way, guys. It's good news. So, there's been a lot of people, like, putting in their 2 cents for this. And again, constructive feedback and opinions are not necessarily a terrible thing. The devs, I guess, they want to know, like, how well the update's being received and stuff. The bit I have an issue with, really, around this is so many people are just going, oh, it's trash. It's not out yet. like, okay, the devs have talked about some things that are coming, but none of us know, like, to what extent those things are going to be in the game, to what extent the game is going to be different and feel different when you're playing it. It's not out yet. Like, I think it's so harsh to judge a game, like, before it's even been released. Let's remember as well, this update isn't going to cost you anything. Like, if you have already bought Valheim, this update is free. Now, they've got, I don't know, but, like, it's definitely over 7 million. I don't know the exact numbers. Copies sold, right? So you'd think, if they charge just $1 for this update as a DLC, they'd probably make $1 million, right? Maybe more. So, it's free, guys. Like, at least give it a go first and see how it is. They're not going to show you everything in advance, right? They're going to keep some things back so that there is a bit of that early game hype. And also, and they've kind of said this themselves in interviews and stuff, like, they want us to discover things, like, play the game and discover things as we're playing it, rather than just knowing, like, exactly what we're going to get in the game. So I think that is, like, very unfair to do. And, okay, maybe, the update is going to be a smaller update. I mean, they've said themselves, like, this is not a big update, right? They've been worried about the expectations being managed because the game just grew so much bigger than anybody anticipated. And so, there's like a pressure on them now about, okay, well, we need a big update for this. And, they've taken certain steps to amend that. And one of the things they did was push the update back to give themselves more time to do, I guess, a bit more content and get things a bit more organized, make sure they're heading in the right direction. But, it's the same, like, I'm comparing it to Minecraft for a reason, right? One, because I know a little bit about it. I did a lot of Minecraft on my channel. But also because Minecraft now is this huge game and probably bigger than Valheim will ever be, right? And yet I think in the early stages here, Valheim's actually getting so much more right than Minecraft did. And I get it, like, we're 2009 was the first Minecraft beta, and we're now in 2021. So there are probably bigger expectations in the gaming world nowadays, and you need to be maybe that much more ahead of where Minecraft was. Okay, fine. But still, they are getting a lot right, and the numbers are a lot better. And I think, it's probably better the route they're going down, with there being smaller updates that they get right. Because once they introduce something to the game, it's hard to take it out, because people get used to it, and people start to enjoy it, or at least learn to tolerate it. And unless it's something that like the vast majority of the community just hates, it's hard for them to take it out. Because if they add in a feature that 10% of the community enjoys, and that game with the update and stuff grows to like 10 million people that are playing it, if they then take that out, that's 1 million people that they get. They're going to annoy, right? So they have to like try and add in the right things, and it's incredibly difficult. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that job, right? So I think doing the small updates, it actually makes sense, and I think it's something we should probably get behind, because it's like in business, like, you can grow too fast, right? Like, you're getting all these sales and this money, and you pump that into doing too much, and over trading is a genuine thing. Like, anyone who's studied business or economics might be familiar with this. A lot of businesses have done this. They expand way too quickly, and then they lose a ton of money and sometimes go bankrupt. And I think it is, the smart, sensible approach. And I just don't like when people are just having a massive go, as I say, when this isn't like even out yet, especially, as I say, when it's going to be free. The other thing I think we all need to remember, and this is myself, by the way, sometimes I do this because I look at the game in a different way to what most people do, probably as a content creator. Like, there's certain features that I think, oh my god, that'd be so nice for me to do certain things in videos with and whatever, right? More like, I guess, mechanics and stuff like that behind the game. And then I have to remind myself, like, they're not making this update for me, right? Or for you, or any individual. They're doing it as, I would say there's 2 things. One, the community as a whole, right? Trying to please people in the right way. And 2, they had a vision for this game, right? They started off as a small team, And I guarantee you they would have got together and discussed the vision for that game, right? I mean, they started off with just like a 2-person team, then they expanded to like 5 people. You know, that's no people. Now, even now, it's like 8 or 9 people, I think, that are on this game. And that's going to be a very solid vision that they want to stay true to. And while we're talking about the team numbers, that's important too, right? That they're not like this massive game company. They're a small company and they only have so many people. And they're not all just working on game development, right? Like some of them have to handle things like the marketing and sales side of things, or, you know, customer support and social media is very important nowadays. Like, so there's a lot of work to do and only very few people that can do it. The final thing I want to address with the update is a criticism I've seen a little bit where people are saying, oh, they went and took time off. They went on this big long holiday and whatever. And I'm like, they could so easily have just decided, like, the money that they've got probably set for life, right? They could just be like, thanks guys, enjoy the game, we'll see you around. So the fact they took some time off, I mean, like they must have been so overwhelmed and a little bit scared probably about, geez, what do we do now with this like update and stuff? And also to go from, I mean, I don't know their financial situation, right? But we're just making a few assumptions here based on some interviews I've seen them and stuff, that they're on like a normal wage like the rest of us, and then all of a sudden they've got millions. I mean, maybe not all of them. I don't know how their company's set up. But the point is, that would be very overwhelming. Just the finances on one side, as I say, they could have just said, okay, we're done. Like, we don't need to develop this game any further. But they're not doing that. They're still developing and they're still, you know, trying their best to produce a great game. And I think we should really get behind them as a community. And I say constructive feedback, I think is fine. But some people just, I don't know, they're just not happy. And so the final thing I wanted to talk about was kind of the future for Valheim, which I think has just this amazing potential. I mean, so when I started my channel, here's a little personal thing now, right? I was doing the Minecraft videos. And I always said to myself, man, if I could have started my channel 7 or 8 years earlier than what I did, I would be on like 1 million subs by now. Because a lot of the Minecraft people that did that, you know, were getting in early and the game just grew and grew and grew. And so I've always sort of thought like if I could have got in there, that'd have been amazing to have grown that way. But now I see like Valheim has this potential. And I mean, if it does 10% of what Minecraft has done, it's going to be a very successful game, right? And that might be like, yeah, okay, but how many games ever do 10%? Fair enough, like not many will. But Valheim's well placed for it, okay? It's doing well, guys. I mean, it's doing insanely well, right? And the people who right now are just complaining and just like, yeah, the game's rubbish, right? Even though the update's not out and they don't want to provide like thoughts on how it could be better, they're just, no, it's just trash. The update's trash. I mean, I think one or two things will happen with those players that are doing that. Either in 5 years' time, they will no longer be playing Valheim because they're just kind of like semi into the game, not really fully immersed in it. Or they will be playing in 5 years' time because the game, you know, maybe the updates have gone better than they thought, or they came back to it, or it's better than they imagined, or whatever. So either way, like, the Valheim community doesn't really care, right, what you think, because either you're not going to be around in 5 years, in which case, like, you're not really trying to help the game in the community sense of, like, you know, let's get behind them and suggest actual improvements, or you are still playing, in which case you were just wrong, which is fine. We all get stuff wrong. I get a lot of things wrong, and anyone who knows me knows that. But so they did it right. You just didn't see it at the time. So I don't know. That's kind of a way of thinking about it. But I think it's just that general principle of like not demanding too much from small game developers. Like, you know, it's going to be hard for any game developer to compete with the big game developers, right? That has these huge teams and marketing budgets and all the technology and resources you could ever want. And so for these like indie game developers, when they're making something, I think like surely we want to get behind that, right? Like we all love Coke at McDonald's, okay? But is it nice sometimes to go to the family restaurant around the block and buy your dinner from them because you know that is going to them? Now, as I said before, I'm sure all the Valheim developers that have owned shares in the company or however they got the setup, they're doing okay financially, I'm sure. But even so, I think we should look to support smaller game companies. As Valheim grows, more and more developers and things will be able to get employment with them and the company will grow. And I think we should try and get behind them as a community rather than just having to go. So as I said, a bit of a different video today, guys. I wanted to make this video really to have my say back about Valheim, about the game, the way it's developing, the community. because I have seen a lot of comments and things about the update being trash or taking too long, whatever. Just things that I thought were hugely unfair, and I wanted to sort of add a different perspective on that. I am more than open to discussion on this stuff down in the comments. Constructive feedback comments would be the best. But I know through my experience on my channels and stuff that many of you watching this are just like me, excited for the update and really looking forward to trying out all the new stuff and whatever. And I very much look forward to those of you that I'm going to be experiencing that with, whether it's through comments on my YouTube or on my Twitch, or even those of you that are really coming into like my servers and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to the whole thing. Again, thank you all for the support to date, and I look forward to the update with you.